Guys, Christian here. I'm back again. And last night was WWE Clash of Champions. It was a alright pay-per-view. I watched the entire thing, the kickoff all the way to the main event. Whether this pay-per-view compares better to Backlash, I'll get to in a little bit. But let's just get started off on the matches. We had Nia Jax versus Alicia Fox. Nia Jax won, like I predicted, and this is good. Nia Jax pretty much needs to win. She's a new star. All new stars deserve to have wins on pay-per-view matches, not like how. And I was really happy that they didn't pull the club or a Baron Corbin and have them lose their very first pay-per-view match, along with Bayley too. But this pay-per-view felt like the match was good. I thought the match was okay. It was a pretty good women's match. Nia Jax came off pretty strong against Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox really brought her all in this match, and pretty much Nia Jax won, which I'm happy about. Then we had the WWE Tag Team title matches between the New Day and Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. I was pretty sure Anderson and Gallows was going to walk out of Clash of the Champions as the champions, but the New Day did. Xavier Woods hit Carl Anderson with the trombone, which allowed to have Kofi go for the pin and win. I think I'm pretty sure the New Day pretty much have run their course as a tag team. The New Day, I just don't want them being tag team champions. I don't mind if they're a tag team for at least a couple more months if that's what WWE wants to do. But in my opinion, I feel like it's time for the New Day to lose the titles. Whether they should lose to, I believe they should lose to either, what tag team? Oh yeah, Anderson and Gallows, because Anderson and Gallows, once Finn Balor comes back and wins the Universal title, you'll have all members of the club having championship belts, but we can save that for when Finn Balor comes back. Enzo and Cass is one. I know Enzo and Cass, when they came to the WWE, when they left NXT and came up to the main roster, they had a lot of momentum, and then once Enzo got his injury, and they were somewhat pushed back a little bit. They were involved in the whole John Cena versus the club storyline. They're pretty much jobbing, and they're not jobbing out, but they're losing to the Shining Stars on Raw, which is not really fun to watch because I really love Enzo and Cass, and I like Primo and Epico, but I like Enzo and Cass more, and plus they're a more entertaining tag team. That's just my opinion. So after that, then we had the Cruiserweight match. I was pretty sure this match was going to be the second to last match on the card, if not the third to last. But they had it now, which I thought was okay. They changed the ring ropes, which was surprising. I didn't expect it, because on Raw they didn't change the ring ropes, which really surprised me. But TJ Perkins, like I predicted, won. TJ Perkins has probably one of the best, theme songs in WWE right now. And it's one of my favorites, and I thought TJ Perkins was over now, with that. I feel like he's, getting a little bit more over. The Cruiserweight match was really good. It really sets up TJ and Brian Kendrick getting into a feud, Brian being a heel and everything. It makes sense, and Brian Kendrick actually works and looks better as a heel rather than a babyface. And I knew that TJ Perkins was going to win because there would be no chance in hell they would take the title off Perkins and give it to Brian Kendrick this soon. It was a much better decision to leave the title on TJ Perkins. Then we had Jericho and Sami Zayn. It was an okay match, pretty good spots. Chris Jericho won because storyline with Kevin Owens, obviously. I guess they are hinting at Zayn, Owens, and Jericho triple threat at Survivor Series, which would be great because it's going to be in Canada. Sorry, I lost the train of thought there. In Canada, a huge Canadian crowd cheering for 3 Canadians battling over a title. That's something that WWE needs to book for, especially Raw needs to book for their championship match. Then we have Cesaro versus Sheamus. Probably the best match. Like, obviously, the number 7 match is obviously going to be the best match, but, like, this deserved to be a great match. This is a really good match with a really crappy finish because they pulled a WrestleMania 27 and just did a clothesline over the barricade. Both men were unable to continue when Cesaro and Sheamus, despite them being hurt, they wanted to continue. Cesaro earlier in the match did a really, really dangerous spot where he was going for a suicide dive, but was trying to do a flip once he got through the ropes, and he ended up landing on his neck and shoulder, I feel like he landed on his head, neck, and shoulder. It was a really bad watch. I watched it and I was cringing because I was like, oh my god, I hope he's not like hurt or anything. Because if Cesaro ends up being hurt, then that would just suck. I'm just saying it would suck. Then we had the women's triple threat match, which I thought was probably the best match on the card. And Charlotte won. Like, oh, by the way, in the Cesaro match, like Cesaro and Sheamus match, that was a no contest. Forgot to mention that earlier. But yeah, Charlotte won. I wasn't expecting that. Like, I know a lot of people wanted Sasha Banks to win, and if not Sasha, then Bayley. But it's too soon for Bayley to have the title, so it's understandable if Bayley didn't win. Sasha not winning was very surprising because I thought that Sasha would get the title. Charlotte would continue her feud would continue her whole storyline with Dana, and then Nia Jax could qualify for a number 1 contendership, maybe against Bayley on Raw, the battle for the women's championship opportunity. But I don't know. Like, I really don't want to see Dana Brooke versus Charlotte for the women's title because I know that match will probably be pretty bad. But I don't know. We just have to wait and see what else will happen on Raw tonight and how the storyline with the women will change. Then we had the U.S. Championship match, which I thought was a pretty good match. I thought it was a pretty okay match. Good moments. Lana getting ejected from the match. Roman Reigns. I predicted, I wanted Roman Reigns to have the title because he's much better as a mid-card champion rather than, normal champion. But with this actually makes Roman Reigns closer enough to becoming a Grand Slam champion. All 3 members of the Shield are close to becoming Grand Slam champions. Dean just has to win a tag team title. Seth Rollins has to win an Intercontinental Championship title. And Roman Reigns just has to win the Intercontinental Championship as well. So, yeah. So basically, I don't mind having Roman Reigns as champion. If Kurt Angle is to come back, I would prefer him versus Rusev over the U.S. title. And I guess when Kurt Angle comes back, he's probably going to be battling someone else. And I don't know. I feel like it's okay for right now for Roman Reigns to be champion. At least when he won, he actually got a pop from the crowd, which was surprising. Because just a few months earlier, he was getting booed out of the fucking building at Money in the Bank, and now he's being cheered as the U.S. champion. So I hope that they continue the storyline with Rusev and Roman Reigns, because it's a pretty good storyline, really personal, and I feel like this is a really good feud for the U.S. title. Then we had the WWE Universal Championship match, which was my second favorite match on the card. It was a pretty good match. Of course, we would have shenanigans, the referees getting knocked out, another referee coming in. Kevin Owens won like I expected because it's too soon for Kevin Owens to lose the title because it's been 3 weeks, and Seth Rollins is a great superstar. Don't get me wrong. Seth Rollins is one of the best superstars on the main roster. But I just don't think it's time for Seth Rollins to have the Universal title. And I feel like if Seth wins the title, I'm afraid he'll go back to a heel, which I really don't want him to do. I feel like if they continue Seth Rollins getting inches and fingertips away from the title, getting pulled away from him, That would give him an underdog story, which will eventually have him become a full-on baby face by the time he gets involved with his feud with Triple H later on down the line for WrestleMania. And Kevin Owens, like, we're gonna have like Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and Chris Jericho probably at Hell in a Cell, and then after that, then Sami Zayn will get involved somehow, and then Seth Rollins will be involved in someone else, and then we'll have like the Canadian triple threat for Survivor Series. And overall, this pay-per-view was okay. And to be honest, I thought Backlash was a much better pay-per-view than this. Like, yes, Raw has good superstars, but at least the storylines for some of these matches were not built up correctly. The only matches that were really built up was pretty much the championship matches. Not as much, like, the championship matches, like, except for the tag team titles. I thought the tag team title build-up was a little meh, but that's just my opinion. When it comes to the women's championship, I think it's good that they're building that. U.S. title, pretty good, and then the Universal title is kind of all over the place. But Backlash was good. Despite having a much smaller card, it was a much better match. It was a much better pay-per-view. Also because of the moments that SmackDown Live had and a lot of potential that Backlash had compared to to Clash of Champions. Clash of Champions didn't have a lot to show. Didn't have a lot to prove because they didn't have like to crown like new like vacant and like they didn't have to give people vacant titles. Like they had actual championship matches with a challenger and a champion, not like two people battling over a vacant title. So like, yes, SmackDown Live Backlash had a lot more like theory of like, oh, who could win the title? Oh, which team deserves to have to be the first SmackDown Tag Team Champion? And basically, overall, this pay-per-view was good. It was filled with some pretty good matches. Not so great not so great build-up storylines in some of the matches, but I thought it was an okay pay-per-view. Now we just have to wait for Hell in a Cell to see how that builds up, because I don't know how it's going to build up, and whether they're going to have other storylines involving like the Cesaro Sheamus thing, the Women's Championship match, the Universal Championship match. I have no idea what will happen. That's why I'm going to tune in to Raw tonight and watch it. So that's basically how it is. I believe that Backlash was much better than Clash of Champions, but that doesn't take away from the actual pay-per-view. It was really good matches, okay storylines, and overall, it was a pretty good night of wrestling, and he really showed off the cruiserweights really good. That's just and that's basically it. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and be sure to tune in for more wrestling videos, and be sure to follow me on Twitter. My Twitter will be in the description below. I'm Christian Justino from CNC Productions. I'll see you guys next time.